Hello students. So today I'm going to start a chapter that is verb from your language book. So you must have heard about this word, and in our everyday life we normally use this word in a sentence. So in short we can say, what is verb? Verbs are the action words. You can see there are some action words written in this picture, that is whisper, joke, play, dance, laugh. These are the actions. Action of whom? Action of a subject. Subject means a person, place, or animal about whom we are talking. Like, for example, you can see in this picture there is a girl, and what the girl is doing? The girl is reading a book. So, what is her action over here? Her action is reading, and the subject is girl, and because we are talking about a girl. So, let's begin with the definition of verb. What is verb? Verb is a word that is used to indicate the position or condition of the subject, to denote the action of the subject, or what is possessed by the subject. Let's take an example. Mother Teresa was the founder of the Missionaries of Charity. She served the poor and the sick. She had a kind and loving heart. In all these three sentences, A, B, and C, we are talking about a person, that is Mother Teresa. And Mother Teresa is which gender? Is a feminine gender. And which person? She is a third person. You should remember these things, that when we are talking about a subject, then what the subject is, whether it is masculine or feminine, and what is the person of that subject. So moving towards the verbs. So in these three sentences you can see there is word which is highlighted, that is was, served, and had. And what are these? These are the verbs. We can say was and had is an helping verb, and served is a main verb. So in sentence A, was tells the position of a subject, that is Mother Teresa. In second sentence, served indicates the action of the subject. What is the action of Mother Teresa? She served the poor and the sick. And in the third sentence, had indicates her possession, that is, she is kind and loving heart. Now, there are basically three kinds of verb. First one, transitive, second, intransitive, and the third one is incomplete verbs. Let's study about these. First comes your transitive verb. What is transitive verb? A verb that indicates an object to complete the meaning is called transitive verb. A verb that needs an object. Okay? In a sentence there is a verb, and when the verb is totally dependent on the object, when it needs an object to complete its meaning, we call it as a transitive verb. Here in the example you can see, he packed the bag. Here the subject is he, and what is the action of he? That is packed. So if the question arises, what does he packed? Suppose we hide this, the bag. The bag is the object. Suppose we hide this thing. So the question may arise, what did he packed? So the answer is incomplete. So we need to say he packed the bag. So in this sentence you can see packed is a verb which required an object to complete its meaning. So that is why packed over here is called as the transitive verb. Sometimes transitive verbs take two objects, one of which is a thing and another a person. Here you can see in this example, Ria bought a gift for her. We are talking about Ria, she is the subject, and what she bought? She bought a gift. And for whom? For her. So in this sentence you can see there are two objects, that is a gift and her. So a gift is the direct object and her is the indirect object. Now here comes your intransitive verb. Intransitive verb is just the opposite of transitive verb. How? Because A verb that does not require an object to complete its meaning is called intransitive verb. In intransitive verb, it does not require any object. For example, the match was won. The song was sung. In both the sentences, was won and was sung are the intransitive verbs. Next comes your verbs of incomplete prediction. What is this? A verb which need the help of some word or a group of words to complete their meanings are called verbs of incomplete prediction. Here it requires some word or a group of words to complete its meaning. Like the sun shone brightly. How the sun shone? It shows brightly. The day was windy. So in these two examples you can see the verb, that is in the first sentence verb is shone and the second sentence the helping verb is was. And in both the sentences it required a word to complete its meaning. So this is known as verb of incomplete prediction. Next comes your chief parts of a verb. Verb has got three forms, that is the present tense, past tense and past participle. Past tense is the first form of a verb. Present tense is the first form of a verb. Past tense is a second form of a verb and past participle is a third form of a verb. Here you can see example, go. Go is a present tense. Past tense of go is went. We call it as a second form of a verb. And what is the third form of a verb? That is gone. And we also call it as participle. They are called chief parts of the verb because we can form all the other parts with their help. Now, just see. Here comes your main or principal verb. What are the main verbs? In the previous slides, I must have used this word main verb and helping verb. Now it's time to understand that actually what are they. Main verbs are the words like prepare, knock, eat, drink, run and so on. We may add d, ed or ing at the end of the such verbs to form a new verb. For example, you can see bake. Bake is a main verb, and to change it into past tense, what we have added? D. Like sing, if you want to make it the another verb, so we can add at the end ing, and when we add like d, ed or eng at the end of a word, then we call it as a suffix. Suffix is added with a root word to form a new word. Like bake. Bake is a root word, and what suffix we have added? We have added d, and the new word we've got baked. Like sing. Sing is a root word, and what suffix we have added? We have added ing. So new word what we have got, that is singing. So here from one verb, from one root word, by adding suffix we can get another new verb. Sometimes the base form of a verb changes also. Like you can see grow, it becomes grown. Fly, flew. Next comes your auxiliary verbs, or we can also call it as helping verbs. What is this? These are verbs like be, do, can, have and so on. They are changed according to the tenses or to show the manner of action expressed by the principal verb. Auxiliary verbs, it gets changes with the change in a tense. Like you can see auxiliary verb be. It can be used as is, am, are, was, were. Suppose if I say Ria is a good girl. So in this sentence we are talking about Ria, and Ria is singular. For singular word we'll use is as a helping verb. But suppose if I say Ria and her sister, both of them are very beautiful. So here it is plural because we are talking about two person, Ria and her sister. So we use helping verb are. I am a good dancer. So here I am talking about myself, that is singular. For with I we use helping verb, that is am, and was and were are the past tense of is and are. For auxiliary verb has, we normally use had and have, or with the future tense we can use will have or shall have. So you can see how the auxiliary verbs, or we can say the helping verb, get changed with the change in the tenses. If it is present tense we write is, if it is past tense we write was. Next comes do. Do get changed by did or does, and can changed by could. Here comes strong verbs and weak verbs. What is strong verbs? Strong verbs form their past tense by changing the inside vowels of their present tense. Here what does it means that a verb, when we change a verb into past tense, only the vowels present in the word get changed with a vowel only. Like here you can see stand. So A is a vowel and it is a present tense. When we change it into past tense, you can see stood, STOOD. So here you can see it is replaced with a vowel. Give, 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 and the past tense becomes gave. So in this example you can see that the verbs change their past tense by changing the inside vowels. Here are the some examples. You can see arise. Arise is the present tense, the past tense becomes arose. I was the vowel in the present tense, and in the past tense we get another vowel, that is O, and the past participle, that is the third form of a verb, is written as arisen. Another example, blow, blew, blown, choose, chose, chosen. So in this chart you can see that how a present tense get changed into past tense and how the spellings get changed. Now coming towards the weak verbs. What is weak verbs? Weak verbs are those which form their past tense by adding ed, d or t to the present. That means here when we change a verb from present to past tense, so we add the suffix, that is ed, d or t. Like for example you can see acquire. Acquire, when we change this into past tense we add suffix, that is d, and it becomes acquired, and past participle also remains the same, that is acquired. Another example, bark. When we change this into past tense we add ed as a suffix, and the new word what we got, that is barked, and the past participle is also the same, that is barked. Damage, it's a present tense. The past tense of damage is damaged, ed. So in these two charts you can differentiate that in strong verbs the vowels get changed, and in weak verbs we add suffix at the end. And what are the suffix? That is ed, d or t. Like in this example, keep. In keep, when we change it into past tense we add t as a suffix, and the new word what we got, that is kept, and the past participle, that is the third form of verb, is also kept. So in your grammar book you have number of examples. You can see the charts, you can learn it to understand. Now here comes the formation of verbs, how the verbs can be formed. Number 1, verb can be formed from adjectives. What is adjective? Adjective is a word which modifies the noun or pronoun. Like here you can see large, and it becomes enlarge. The verb become enlarge. Like able, and what we get? Enable. So from this you can see verb is formed from the adjective. Fresh, refresh, thick, thicken. Another point, verb can be formed from noun. Now how the verbs is formed from the noun, you can see friend, and now what we get, befriend. Fool, befool. Beauty, beautify. Class, classify. Another point, verb can be formed with the help of some common prefixes. Now prefix means here you can see be and un, which it is used before a root word to form a new words, like this. For example, you can see head. Head is a root word, and what prefix we have added, deb, and the new word what we got, that is behead. Another example, courage. What prefixes we have added, encourage. So in this example we can see that how we can change a verb by adding prefixes. The last point is verb can be formed by adding suffix. Now in the previous point we have studied that while adding prefix we can get another verb, and now we will, by adding suffix we'll get another verb. And what are the suffix we use? en, fy and ise. For example, bright. What suffix we have added? En. See the difference between prefix and suffix. Prefix means something we are adding before the root word, like head, what we have added, behead, before a root word. And suffix means we add after a root word. That means here it was bright and now it becomes brighten. So what we have added? En. After adding en with a root word at the end, we get a new word. Like apology. So here what suffix we have added? ise. So it become apologize. Pure. So what suffix we have added? fy. And new word what we got? Purify. So in this slide you can see that how the verbs can be formed. So it can be formed by from the adjectives, from the nouns, from adding prefixes and the suffixes. Thank you.